Hi, hello, this is Arish Choi, and welcome to the game called Raging Loop. Now, the only thing I know is can you escape this village alive? And based on the title itself, it's a looping story, and it's kind of I think it's have a touch of horror. So what I did is I windowed my screen so that I won't get that scared. And I think this is the start game.
ペコリ
Oh. Okay.
ようこそノベルアドベンチャーゲームレイジングループの世界へ
Okay.
私は単なるドルに足らないインターフェース的キャラクターです。そうですね、リカコとでもお呼びください。
Okay, Rikako.
ここでは初めてプレイなさる皆様にこのゲームの遊び方を簡単にご説明いたしたいと存じます。
Mm-hmm.
いくつか変わったところのあるゲームですので、最初はぜひとも全部の説明をお読みいただきたいと思います。
Sure.
特に動画配信をなさる方は4動画やシェアについてだけでも必ずお読みくださいね。
What do you mean? What do you mean?
最後まで読んでいただけたら私のセクシーな画像が見られません。世間は厳しゅうございます。さめざめ。
What?
さて、何からご説明いたしましょう。
Okay, so she said herself we need to read a lot. So sure, I'm going to read this a lot. I don't know if you'll be interested, but I will about this game.
レイジングループはノベルアドベンチャーゲームというジャンルでございます。小説のように文章で物語が綴られ読んで楽しむゲームです。世に言う人狼ゲームと深く関係する物語ではありますが、人狼ゲームそのものではないのでご注意を。スーパー人工知能リカコ20人と永遠の人狼ゲームを楽しめるとご期待された方、すみません。さめざめ。もちろんただの小説ではございません。時折現れる選択肢によって物語が変化するすごい小説なのです。
Mm-hmm.
キャラクターたちが生き生きと描写され生き生きとボイスを喋ります。せっかくの声をお楽しみになるためや突如絶叫が響き渡らないためにイヤホンなどされ
Oh
るのも
by
良
the
いかと。
gods. Angry screams.
とっても大ボリュームな物語ですので没頭しすぎて数日徹夜なんてことになるやもご注意くださいね。
Okay.
なおもうご存知かと思いますが、レイジングループは架空の殺人事件恐怖事件を扱ったお話です。
Oh no. Fabricated murders. I believe you.
サスペンス、スリラー、ホラー、そして謎に挑み解決するお話がお好きなあなたにぴったりの物語。
Oh man, I need to prepare myself
も
for
ちろん
this.
この物語は作り事で実際の人物や団体や思想や事件などとは一切関係がございません。
Well, hopefully.
作中の学問知識、歴史、宗教、神話、科学、医学等の知識は創作を含みます。テストに書いたら0点です。 そして
Oh, sorry, I cut
描
her
か
off.
れる犯罪や惨劇については現実のそんな行為を推奨する意図など全くございません。そん
Mm-hmm.
な感じで現実との区別をしっかりおつけになったらもう大丈夫。本作を思いっきり楽しんでくださいね。
Okay. That's longer than her voice about special functions.
レイ
It
ジング
does
ループ
have
の
special
独特
functions.
な機能について説明いたしますね。レイジングループのストーリーは複雑に分岐しております。どう分岐したのか管理するのは大変かもしれません。
Good to
でも
know.
心配無用。本作ではシナリオチャートという便利機能が採用されています。
Thank
メ
goodness.
ニューを開けばチャートという機能にいつでもアクセスでき、そこからシナリオの全図が見られるのです。
Can I? Okay, so we're in introduction. There's the save and load points.
さらにこのシナリオチャートを使えば入ったことのあるチャプターにいつでもどこでもどこからでも移動が可能。
Really? Isn't that kind of a cheating?
選択肢では必ずセーブとは申しません。これでいつでも選択肢は選び直せますのでご心配なく。
My God, it's telling me not
シナ
to.
リオチャート機能についてはまた後でもう一度使いどころの説明がありますのでよくわからなくても大丈夫ですよ。
Alright.
次にキーについて。レイジン
Keys.
グループの物語分岐はすべて選択肢を選んだ瞬間に発生いたします。後から聞くものは存在しません。その代わりいくつかの選択肢はキーと呼ばれる特定の情報がないと開くことができません。このキーを探すことこそレイジングループの大きな目的だと言えるでしょう。
Okay.
その探し方は実際に手に入った時に説明があるそうですのでご心配なく。
Sure.
ちなみに一度キーを入手して解放されたルートはセーブデータと関係なく開きっぱなしになります。逆に言うとキーが未入手の状態にはロードしても戻れません。
Oh, okay, okay. So it's
それ
permanent.
で読めなくなる文章はありませんのであまり困ることはないと思いますがご承知くださいね。キーがない状態に戻して遊びたいという既得なお方には全データを初期化する手もあります。ご利用は計画的に。
But are there scenarios where you, like, if you have a key and you don't want to use it, or it will automatically be used? So that's why it's telling you to. You can reset it with you not having keys about standard functions.
独特な機能に加えレイジングループにはノベルゲームとして基本的な機能が一通り揃っています。テキストウィンドウを隠す、バックログ、ロード、セーブ、既読文章のスキップ、次の選択肢までスキップ。ロードやセーブはだいたい普通の仕組みです。オートセーブ機能もあるにはありますが新しいチャプターに入るたびにセーブするだけなので頻繁にはセーブされません。霧のいいところまで読むかシナリオチャートをご利用いただくか手動セーブを活用してくださいね。
Okay. Isn't that
次にオプション設定について。
contradicting what you're telling me about earlier about save points?
メニューから開けるオプション設定からは音量調整やテキスト表示スピード調整など様々な設定が可能です。ただ全部説明すると皆様がお眠になってしまわれるのであとは他の説明書きや誰かさんの追加説明をお読みください。
You mean
お
you?
願いいたしますね誰かさん。
Oh, okay. What's happening there? What? What about videos and sharing?
レイジングループはノベルゲーム。物語や展開やオチはとても大事ですからそれら全てを配信されてしまいますととても困ってしまいます。かといって
Oh, sorry, I cut
お
her off.
楽しみは大勢で分け合いたいものそれは重々承知しております。というわけで私どもは動画配信していただける範囲を設定しております。
Okay.
ちなみにその範囲は最初のメインルート丸ごと1本プラスアルファ。具体的にはシナリオチャート上の4潜入の9入村方法はで選択肢が出るまでが配信可能範囲です。
The choice at for infiltration to entering the village?
相当な長さがございますので配信のネタにしばらく困ることはないと保証いたします。
I won't remember the title.
むしろ全文読み上げる派の配信主様は喉が潰れないか心配です。無理はなさらずゆったりお楽しみくださいね。
Okay.
ちなみに動画配信の折にはお知らせ機能をぜひともご利用くださいませ。
Okay.
この後現れる選択肢でお知らせ機能をオンにしていただいた場合、動画配信終了のタイミングで突然謎の羊が出現。ここまでよとお知らせいたします。
Oh, that will be cool. Okay, I'll do that.
そこで収録はお開きとしていただき、あとは考察やら議論やらをお楽しみいただければ幸いの極みでございます。ちなみに今はオフの状態ですよ。
Okay. Okay, sure. On then.
はい、オンにいたしました。
Yeah.
また切り替えたいときはゼロ導入のここに来てくださいね。
Sure. That's fun. I'm good to main story then. So, wow. First of all, I didn't know that there will be like that. I recorded anyway, but I think it will be fun to like have this played and then not show what they don't want to be shown or uploaded on the internet. And I'm excited actually. So, I think I'm good with the main story, huh?
とても長くなってしまいました。ここまでお読みいただき誠にありがとう存じます。
Don't scare me now.
それではいよいよ物語の始まりです。限りなく濃い霧と血煙の向こう、繰り返される絶望と悲嘆の果て、人狼村の真実をどうかその目でご覧くださいませ。ペコリ。
May 11. Okay, so this is what she's telling me that I need to read it all. I have a sore throat. I closed in on the side of the road and killed the engine. It was steeper than I thought. My bike was on the verge of giving out, so I pushed down and deployed the kickstand. Oh, well, I'm lost. Maybe taking a ride down an unknown road with no sat-nav? What sat-nav on me wasn't such a good idea. I just followed the road, so I figured I wouldn't get lost, but now I was in some deep shit. No, cool it. This isn't a big deal. I sighed, took a note of the fact that I've gotten lost in my pocket journal and pulled out the map. Suddenly, a rush of memories fleeted into my mind. Whoa, so this is a freaking key. Oh, so if you loop and back here... Oh, I'm sorry, I clicked the auto. If you loop back and got here and then you got a key, you'll remember everything in your mind. And somehow kept myself from remembering those things. After all, I'd gone on this trip to forget.
もうやめ目の前の現実を直視。人生はシンプル。つまりこの道のごとく真っ暗で道案内もなく進むか返すか。
My
考える
gosh,
ことはそれだけ。
scares me that he blinks. Why are you blinking? Going back wasn't an option in this case, so I just moved forward. Still, I wanted to know where I was, at least, so I looked down at my map. It was all Greek to me. Last time I'd seen the sign, it was still light out, meaning that I'd gotten lost after the sun had set. Sure, it was my own fault for just guessing which intersections I'd been passing through, and that'd take me 2 hours to conclude I was lost. Crazy to think that just 2 hours of aimless driving got me almost completely surrounded by mountains. They extended as far as the eye could see. If you flipped this scenery upside down and shook it, it's unlikely even a shred of civilization would tumble out. Besides, the asphalt below my sweet ride and the lamppost above, the first one in a while, mind you, there was nothing man-made here. The pocket map I had wasn't detailed enough for me to figure out where I was.
進むか。
So Habuwaki Fusaishi. Okay. I'd go as far as I could. Worst comes to worst, I could just camp at the side of the road. It's a good thing that there have voice actors so I won't read a lot. 2 hours later, I deeply regretted ever thinking that basically camping wasn't an option. This mountain road had no side to camp on. A dump truck I passed barely even fit on it. I also had my first close encounters with wild forest animals. I'd already seen 2 boars and 3 deer in those 2 hours alone. One of the deer had run parallel to my back while instantly staring at me, and I had no idea what to think of that. Maybe it's a person. It felt like it could smell my fear, and it did to... Bleh. And it did it to just make it worse. How dare the thing to do that to a human? We're the kings of this planet. Damn it. I'd have to remember to eat some venison once I came back to civilization. Wow! I don't like you right now. Anyway, camping out here was a bad idea. I ended up as either roadkill or animal food. And yet I didn't back out. Why? Because I'm pretty warped sort of guy. I won't pretend otherwise. That was actually the reason why my once comfortable relationship had gone awry and why I'd gone on this stupid trip. Still, despite acknowledging that, I chose to keep moving forward. It wasn't like I'd find a place to stay if I went back. I was actually starting to think that this experience might make a good conversation piece sometime down the road. It was really getting late at this point. Where would these roads take me anyway? It was probably disappointing soon enough. The road became flat. I was out of the mountain pass. The forest remained abandoned, though so I still didn't see much. Even so, the street lights and signs were enough to make me feel I was again nearing civilization. Was street lights the right expression for lights in the forest? I have to look that up. As the road grew less rugged, I realized just how exhausted I was. All this bike handling left my hands really sore too. I really had to rest. Suddenly I saw something unexpected. Powerful, colorful, artificial lights. A convenience store? A konbini, as they said. Fresh market. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was next to an intersection between the road I was on and another, even thinner road that could probably support only a single car. The sea of trees ended giving room for the majestic child of our consumerist society. Yeah, that was an exaggeration. Apparently, even the Sam store was a big deal for someone who just stepped out of the wild. It was called Fresh Market. I'd seen several of them a few times during the day. It was probably a local franchise. Or you're already looping, you're not aware of it. The building didn't look at all that old. At least the parking lot looked a lot smoother compared to the roads. This was a pretty weird place to build something like that though. Was it close to settlement, or did they actually make a profit off of lost travelers? I just asked that or something. A local shopkeeper was bound to know what was around these parts. Not to mention, I was thirsty. I was welcomed by a weird chime sound. That's so weird, really. It looked like a normal convenience store. There were goods on the shelves, a counter on the left, and a weird person, of course. Wow. The worker at the counter was so mean looking, it was scary. She was so imposing. I wouldn't have doubted if someone told me she was in charge of some lady army corps. Was that supposed to be a greeting? It was so damn cold, actually gave me chills. Was this store shadier than it appeared? Was I about to stupidly overcharge? Was this how this place made a profit, by taking advantage of lost people and basically beating them out of their money? Shit, that was scary. Clearly, that Wonderland had only just begun. Woohoo! I sure was excited for the bidding. I grew more nervous and less enthusiastic by the second. I braced myself, but she just looked down at the magazine in her hands. Oh, so she was just a slacker. Slightly disappointed, I walk around the store. Ooh, it was about what you'd expect. There's a small shelf with energy drinks, followed by some stationaries, travel goods, sanitary stuff, etc. There were treats that came with toys, a shelf of cup ramen and dried food, a fridge, a freezer. It looked normal. It was late, so the daily dish and packed lunch section was completely empty. The only special thing about this place was the section full of unpacked vegetables you'd expect to see at the green grocers. Maybe all the rural convenience stores were like this. I was slightly surprised by that, but there weren't any local fine foods or anything. So, all in all, it was an unremarkable store. If you ignore the clerk anyway. I took a drink and brought it to the register. Are you smoking inside this grocery store? Yep, she was the highlight of this place. What kind of clerk smokes while dealing with a customer?
買うのかよ。
Yes, I was actually buying. She was the clerk and I'd be her god, the customer.
126円。
She didn't even scan it. This exchange was at the mercy of the clerk. God is dead. Do you think? Maybe I had to get mad at her.
ちょっといいですか？
あ？
実は道に迷ってしまって。
I quickly turned meek.
町はどっちにあるでしょうか？
あっち。
いや、できれば地図とか。
ない。
Haha, man, this woman.
いや、そんなはずはないでしょ。コンビニなんて大体道聞かれるから、地図は常備してるもんでしょ。
知らねえよ。ないもんはねえ。おとなしく来た道戻れよ。
もう数時間迷ってるもんで、これ以上はちょっと。
その辺の床で寝てけば。
She had to be joking. You know, that's not a bad deal, you know. You just gotta sleep until the morning comes and it will all get better, I think.
いや、お気持ちだけでいいんで、道だけちゃんと教えていただけたら。
ああ、もう、せえな。待ってろ。
The clerk put out her smoke in the ashtray and went to the staff-only area. She came back in no time.
あったわ。
So she did have a map. Of course she did. Even more ill-tempered than usual, the clerk started giving an explanation.
これがこの店。で、十字路北へ行け。しばらくしたら立教があっから渡れ。最初の分岐のとこに大岩があっからそこを右折してあとは直線。
Okay, overpass, cross, fork next, giant boulder, turn right, head straight.
この道？
んだよ。
いや、この先何もなくないです？
書かれてねえだけで集落があんだよ。
そこ以外なら？
富士吉村まで行くには峠道を2時間。こっちなら30分で着く。
Fujiyoshi seems to be a village. It didn't look too far away, but the road leading to it was a huge branching mess. It was clearly just a paved mountain pass. I've had enough of those for one day. Probably just get lost again.
じゃあ、こっち行ってみます。
金。
はい？
払ってねえだろ。
ああ。
Oh, sorry.
じゃあ500円。
Ding Russell jingle.
なぜお釣りを無断で募金箱に入れるんですか？
小銭多いとうぜえだろ。
There was hell of a line. I casually thanked her, grabbed the plastic bottle of the tea she didn't give me a bug, by the way, and left the store. I drank the tea in the parking lot and looked up in the moon, obscured by clouds, but still bright enough to outshine the light of the convenience store. The clerk put me in a bad mood though, so I didn't enjoy the sight. I threw the bottle into the nearby trash can and aggressively drove away. Following the directions, I crossed the overpass and arrived at the first fork in the road. By the way, she told me about was really narrow. I probably wouldn't have noticed it were it not for the tall boulder standing there like a roadside shrine for some traveler deity. Turning carefully, I got on the road. A minute later, I found myself in an even worse wilderness than before. A veil of dead leaves covered the ground. Tall grass sided the path, and sky above was blocked by overgrown making it feel like I was passing a wooden tunnel. The road itself was a huge red flag. It was a wonder why I didn't just turn around. The exchange from before might have pissed me off more than I thought. Still, I really didn't expect the road to just end. Oh gosh, what's happening? It happened about 15 minutes in. The view ahead suddenly turned strangely dark, and a split second later, the bike tipped forward. Oof! I reflexively hit the brakes, but it was too late. I started going down the cliff. My bike tilted downwards, and suspension was put to the greatest test yet, as we basically tumbled down to the bottom. The headlights suddenly shone on some dirt crash, and I knew then that I'd be flung out of my seat. Stifling a scream, I tried to work some steering and brake magic to slow it down without collapsing. That was too big a task for a simple road bike. At the bottom of the cliff, it jumped higher than ever before. The suspension couldn't handle the impact, and I was launched into the air. Oh gosh. A moment later, I heard a crash and felt an impact, after which came an unpleasant pain. Ugh. Shite. An accident, where I was flung out like that, was a first for me. The launch was really something, too. I did a 360 in the air and fell on my back. Ouch! My breathing stopped for a moment, and then the pain was so bad I thought all my bones shattered. My face and limbs seemed pretty fine, at least, though I wasn't sure if that counted as a silver lining. There was a crust under my hands. I felt it even under the gloves. That the smell of green made it pretty clear what I landed on. I pushed down and my hands sunk. This grass growth was pretty hefty. It was probably the reason why I came out relatively okay. Sure, my joints cracked when I stood up, but aside from that, I was fine. It was really dark, so I couldn't really confirm, but I was pretty sure I wasn't even bleeding. My bike, however, wasn't nearly as lucky. Now you're totally lost. It was lying on its side, a short distance ahead. The engine was still on. The back wheel kept on turning, making an unpleasant fricative noise. Yep, it was busted. I walked up, killed the engine, and took the key. Is that the key that I needed? With the headlights off, I was surrounded by absolute darkness, so I just stood and waited until my eyes adjusted. I still couldn't see very clearly. I'm so scared that something might appear on that background. I still couldn't see very clearly, but it looked like it actually wasn't a cliff. I was still on the road. It just wasn't paved beyond this point. Obviously, a road bike stood no chance against an unpaved road. That woman actually tried to kill me. Zigzagging through the trees, I followed the narrow footpath deeper into the forest. I tried getting my bike up and running again, but instantly gave up. It was partially stuck in the mud, so there was a risk of it slipping and getting me into another accident. Maybe I had to turn around. The moment I considered that, I thought I saw a faint light ahead. If that woman wasn't lying, this road led to a settlement. Was I close? I reached into my jacket pocket, took out my phone and opened it up. I should expect I was out of range. I ran the light up and shone a light to see it was better than nothing. At the very least, it helped me watch where I was going. I had no idea how long I'd been walking for, but sure enough, I could see a light beyond the shrubs. It was weaker than expected. A flashlight, perhaps? Isn't that the moon? Like this is the sky, this is the shrubs that's covering the moon. Okay, I could hear water too. I might have been near a river.
すいません
I raised my voice.
すいません誰かいませんか
Still determined my presence, I walked forward. It was late at night. Where I bumped into someone here, the scare will probably take a few years of our lives. That was why I figured it was best for us to both let other know we were here before that happened. However, there was no response. Could they not hear me over the rapids?
すいません
Don't scare me, please. I shone my light ahead and realized I'd made it an opening. Sure enough, there was a river, or stream rather. I could see slightly more than I had while surrounded by trees. Straining my eyes, I saw a rocky river, beach, and the shallows. The light I'd seen was on the other side. From what I could tell, it was either a lantern or a flashlight, and it was close to the ground. I didn't see any people though. No one responded to my shouting either. I wasn't excited about it, but I decided to step into the water. The cold water quickly soaked my shoes and socks. I couldn't take them off, but I figured that crossing a river barefooted at midnight was a bad idea. But man, it was cold. I put my phone back to my jacket. I needed both my hands free in case I fell. Not stopping or backing down, I walked toward the light. It suddenly became deeper, and the water reached my knees now. That was too close for comfort. Feeling the bottom with my toes and balancing myself, I somehow avoided losing my footing. The flow was fiercer than I expected. If I slipped and fell, I probably washed away. It suddenly hit me. I was doing something really weird, but it was too late to back down. Putting my hands on the boulders and carefully checking what I was stepping on, I gradually make it to the other side. There was an unpleasant, wet sound in my every step I walked up into the light. I could already see it clearly. Yep, it was a flashlight lying on the ground for some reason. She or he dropped it. There wasn't much space here. It was a narrow riverbank with a cliff right beside it. As you'd expect, I didn't see or sense anyone nearby. What the hell? Though the flashlight was working fine, the strength of the light told me the battery was pretty full. That meant that someone was actually using this tonight, or rather until just a few moments ago. That was the most logical conclusion. It obviously wasn't left here yesterday afternoon or evening, and yet the user was nowhere in sight, and I was near a river. Something bad happened. Did the flashlight owner step into the stream and get swept away? That was the most likely and worst possible scenario. However, the flashlight was left there practically buried in the pebbles. It didn't seem like someone placed it there to light things up. It was the dead of the night. There's no way you wouldn't notice dropping your flashlight when it was so dark. Right, the fact that the light source was left in a place like this was strange by itself. Maybe a future you put it there so that it can help you go across this river. I don't know. With that considered, what was going on here? What if someone heard my stupid shouting and decided to lure me in with light so they could ambush me? Where would they attack me from? Above?
こんばんは。
Wait, did you just interrupt my narrating? I heard a voice the moment I looked up. The rock cliff was actually made of several boulders. There was a face peeking from behind one of them.
こんばんは。
あー、人だ。びっくりした。
That was my line.
悪いんだけど、それ取ってもらえます？
Oh, it fell. The voice was feminine. I realized what was going on.
落としたってわけですか。
I picked up the flashlight and pointed it at the source of the voice. High-pitched voice, slender hand shielding the light. Sure enough, it was a young woman.
眩しいな。
失礼。ちなみに、こっちはこういうものですが。
怖いです。下から照らさない。
実は、当方道に迷っており。
だとすると、割と究極的に迷ってますよ。
Yeah, not as much.
ここって、人里です。
難しい質問だな。
とりあえず、助けてもらえないかと。
助ける？
雨露しのげて、野生動物がいなければ何でもいいんで。
Standing on a boulder, the young woman made a pensive face.
じゃあ、打ち来ます？
And that was the conclusion she'd arrived at. Her face told me she was 100% serious. Place, my place. By that, she surely meant a house, a settlement.
いいんです。頼んどいてなんですが、遠慮を忘れてすがりたい程度には切羽詰まってるんですが。
You know, I still can't get over that the clerk back then suggested, hey, you can sleep on the floor here, but you rejected. You know, sleeping inside of the konbini is safer.
男として？
ええ。いや違う。一個の生命として。数時間迷った挙句、バイクでこけて、心身ともに限界ってわけです。
By the way, he's injured, right?
あらら。なら見捨てるのもどうよって感じじゃないです？一個の生命として。
And so I was saved. Oh, the beautiful living beings looking out for each other.
じゃあ手いいです？
ん？
ここ一人じゃ登れないでしょ？
True, honestly, I didn't realize I'd have to. Meeting another person filled me with relief, which was followed by a sudden wave of fatigue. It wasn't crippling though. She extended her left hand, so I grabbed it with my own left. Her slender fingers were stronger than expected. The girl's name was Chiemi Sebizawa. I asked if she was related to Shinsengumi guy, but she said that her family just adopted the name at some point in the Meiji period. Shinsengumi guy, huh? She was a 21-year-old who went to a college far away from here. It was her hometown, and she was spending her post-exams vacation here. We chatted about stuff like that once she'd led me out of the rocky ravine. There was actually a proper path, so the rock climbing was pretty pointless, but I was too focused on my footing to comment. She told me about herself as soon as we reached solid ground.
ちなみにそちらは？
名前は房石春明。東京で大学院生やってます。
あ、じゃあちょっと年上。
24だから、芹沢さんと3つ違いかな。でもまあ、同世代でしょ。
ちえみでいいですよ。敬語とかもいらないです。
She said, I think she said that just call me Shiemi, you know?
じゃあ僕も、呼び捨てタメ口がいいな。
ですか？
女の子に親しくされてるみたいで、嬉しいからね。
Oh, come on, don't be creepy.
なるほど。実は私も堅苦しいの苦手なんで、じゃあ遠慮なく。
どうぞどうぞ。ちなみに、まだ結構遠い？
そうでもないかな。もう5分くらい頑張りましょい。
What a lively girl. You could tell she was used to people.
ただ、足元に気をつけて、明かりだけ見て。
何かあるの？
この辺、石ころだらけで危ないんだ。
The moment she said that, I stumbled on the rock too big to be called a pebble.
あと、今夜はずいぶん暗いしね。
I couldn't even see the moon anymore. Nodding in agreement, I focused on following the light in her hand.
ちょっと待っててもらえます？着替えちゃうんで。
And so I did just that. Given this was a mountain settlement, I'd expected some old wooden house, but she actually lived in an apartment block. It was too dark to get a good look at it. All I could see were the cheap-looking walls, like I'd expect from some old boarding house for students. Or she should live on the second floor in room 202. I'd hear some raindrops as we were climbing, the rusty stairs, but now it was really pouring. Between that, the darkness, and the large tree right next to the building, it's nearly impossible to see what was going on outside. It felt like I was all alone in a world of nothing but the walls, the door, and the fluorescent lamp above my head. It made me feel somewhat helpless. I distracted myself from that by imagining her... Am I reading this right? Oh gosh, I hate this guy. Eventually, the door opened up.
お待たせ。上がって。
All smashed, she showed herself, now wearing sports clothes. This is kinda exciting. My gosh,
何
this
にもな
guy.
いでしょ？
何にもないね。
でも冷蔵庫の中は、ほら、
素晴らしい。
飲みますか。
やったぜ。
Oh, okay. Well, you have a lot of beer in your fridge. Yeah, her place was really empty. It's just a small room with a low table in the middle, a fridge near the door, and a large duffel bag deeper in. There were two old-looking bookshelves too, but they were completely empty. I wasn't bothered one bit though, and the girl's room was a wonderland to me. My gosh, this guy.
じゃあ大変だった春明さんにお疲れ様。
地獄で出会った仏様に乾杯。
We opened up our cans, knocked them together, and downed them. Hey, it was actually good. The pleasant bitterness and the refreshing carbonation made for a good combo.
美味しい。このためだけに生きてる。
その若さでそれはないでしょ
言い過ぎた。愛や将来にもまだ絶望してません。
う。ところが就活という影が迫る。
いややめて。せっかくのビールがまずくなる。
She laughed and took a huge sip. It was pretty clear she could hold her drink. That aside, something really bothered me.
お誘いに乗っておいてなんだけど、
Okay.
何？
Her cheeks were already red. Maybe she didn't handle her liquor as well as I thought. She had a well-featured face, and I didn't think it was wrong to consider her beautiful. Sure, her clothes weren't the least bit sexy, but I could tell she had some makeup on.
僕は完全に正体不明の自称迷い人だよね。
そうね。
君は年頃の女性、今は深夜。ワンルームの密室で男と二人っきり。その上アルコールまで入ってしまった。
おお。
身の危険を感じたりとかは？
My alerts are alerting. She kept gulping the drink even as she formulated a response. The very fact that I could just watch her do that made this pretty risky situation, and yet...
あんまりないかな。
それは。
芹沢千恵美クイズ。
イエーイ。
問題。ふと気づいたら低層が瀬戸際にもかかわらず、芹沢千恵美は特に身の危険を感じない。なぜでしょう？
Maybe you're a serial killer after all. Maybe you're more dangerous than I am. What a fun girl. This only made me like her more, increasing the danger even further.
質問 OK？
Oh my gosh. I can't look this guy the way I used to look at him. Am I allowed to ask questions?
どうぞ。
僕のことがいい人っぽいという答えはなしでいいかな。
悪い人に見えるってわけじゃないけど、まあなしかな。女の子慣れしてそうだし。
That unintentional compliment showed that she actually did see me as a potential danger.
考えられる回答は大きく2つ。想定外だが何が起きても問題ない。もしくは想定通り。
Oh, by the gods. I hate this situation. Why am I here? Why am I here?
前者はいろいろ考えられるかな。例えば、ちえみちゃんが何かやけっぱちになっていて、どうにでもなれって場合。
But then again, did you consider that maybe she is a serial killer?
あるいは十分な自衛手段がある。実は護身術の達人で、僕なんか軽く乗せるとかね。
おー、論理的。春明さん理系だね。
まあそうかな。一方で後者、つまりこの状況
My
が君の
gosh,
想定通りって場合は
This guy is freaking injured. He has broken bones and he's thinking of this?
例えば、私がエロエロですとか？
Wow, talk about not mincing words.
酔っ払ってきたな。さて、他には何があるでしょう？
Indeed, what other reason could a woman have to bring a stranger to her home? Again, a serial killer. It will surely be something non-standard like...
僕の存在が君の利益になる例。例えば、アリバイ工作。君がここにいたと、後日僕が証言することで君が有利になる。
Right, I told you, a serial killer.
おー、ちゃっかり利用するわけだ。
あるいは、ちえみちゃんが恐るべき殺人鬼で僕を酔っ払わせてぶっ殺す。
But there you go. Finally figure it out.
はあ、ヤマンバいいね。ブッシュブッシュ殺しちゃう。
What kind of sound effect was that? Bushu bushu? I don't wanna know. I don't wanna know. Please don't let me know.
ちなみに前提で出た2つのケースの他に1つあるよ。
あれ抜けてた？
うん、私がとってもいい人で春明さんを助けてあげたい一心だっていうケース。
Was it time for me to be ashamed of my filthy mind? Yeah, of course. It's been time. It's overdue, okay?
いやでもそれで自分が襲われるかもって考えたら
Why are you even thinking of this? Gosh.
わあ、襲うって言っちゃったよこの人。
一般論
Oh
一般論ね。
gosh. You know what? I don't think I feel bad if he died. Stop talking and turned red. It was so cute. I thought she was actually doing it on purpose. Man, she was drunk. And we were just on our second cans.
じゃあこういうのは止めないともっとひどいことになる。それはさすがに忍びないなとか。
Okay, okay.
ごめんもうちょっと詳しく。
この辺りには怖い野生動物が出ます。明日にはこの人はズタズタに引き裂かれてしまうかもしれません。このまま見捨てたらとても寝覚めの悪い思いをするかもしれません。それならまあ止めてあげようかしら。
なるほど。リスクと善意を天秤にかけるってわけか。これは想定外。
想定外か。この人だいぶ悪い人なんじゃないかって気がしてきたな。
He is, isn't he?
そ
だって善意を選択肢に入れる前に殺人鬼とかアリバイとかエロエロとかさ。
うヘロエロは君が言い出したんでしょうが。
そうだったっけ。で答えは？
これって単なるバカ話じゃないの？
正解者には素敵なプレゼント。不正解者はブッシュブッシュ殺します。
My gosh. Don't let me find out what Bushu Bushu is. Okay, let me just save. Okay, will we find out the Bushu Bushu? Seriously? Oh my gosh, the key. You feel guilty if you let me die. You needed an alibi. I really think she needed an alibi. But would it affect something though? Desperate. I want to click this, but desperate for what? Maybe she's desperate to change her fate of being stuck in the loop, but I don't know what's desperate all about. Maybe an alibi. I go with this. I hope.
ピンポーン、正解です。
Am I? Am I really right? Or everything I choose will be right? I knew it.
いやー、だって怪しいと思わなかった？こんな真夜中にあんな場所で何やってたのって。
それは確かに。
あそこで何かしらヤバいことをしてたのはもう確定として、それをごまかすのに好都合な証言者が登場みたいな。
おお。
あるいは迷い込んだ山中の集落でサイコが襲撃なんて夢があるよね。地球ホラーのお約束だよね。
しかもこのクイズ、不正解時のペナルティが殺人という露骨なネタばらしが仕込まれていたしね。
あ、しまった、天然だ。恥ずかしい。こいつは口封じに殺すしかないね。
No, 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 not the splush splush.
正解商品も殺人とは。
じゃあ知恵み食べます
やめとく。
か。
Anyway, this girl was actually pretty sharp. She really had a way with words and knew how to capitalize on it. It almost felt like she was implying that I couldn't let my guard down just because I was a guy. I admitted she was pretty damn attractive, but I felt like I'd have more fun just talking about. Oh my god. I hate this guy. I officially hate this guy. And I don't think he can redeem himself. Okay, the next day, huh?